How rude.
Are we good? We recording? Oh, yes. Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube channel. My name is Luxunny, and today we are going to be talking about how I destroyed my best friend relationship. Oh my goodness. So I decided, yeah, for some reason the last video was very successful when it came to talking about my personal experience with well, the last video. I'll have a video. I have a thumbnail down here so you guys can check it out. So this video seemed to have gotten popular because I guess I talked about my actual experience, and it wasn't the best type of experience. It was actually more being me a villain, and in this one I figured, well, let's talk about another one and see how maybe this one kind of felt a bit similar too, because I felt like me and my best friend at the time were gonna be like inseparable. We were gonna be like the best of buddies forever, like all that, because she actually was my best friend in high school, and she was there for me for like almost every single thing I had done. I would go visit her house, but that's where I guess I should have picked up that it was bad. It was bad signs. But what can I say? So anyways, let's get this started. So for today's video, I'm gonna be Lux, and the person I'm gonna be talking about, we'll call her Jade for you know, I don't think she's gonna see these videos, but to be fair, I just feel like for the protection and for my security, as in like to feel like not a shitty person and call them out on it, I would like to at least give them a nickname or something. But for this person, we're gonna call her Jade. So Jade and I met through high school in 9th grade. So we were best friends for like 5 to 6 years, and throughout our friendship, it was really great. So I wasn't the best when it came to financially being stable, but she was such a good girl. She always had her allowance, she saved up money, and sometimes she would try to treat me to things, and I told her that, look, that's cool, but I don't want to take advantage of you and your money, you know, so and so. But either it wasn't as bad. Sometimes we would go to like a little buffet where it was like $9 per person, and I was like, okay, that's fine, you know, like I can afford that. But then there were times where she would just go fast forward and she would pay for me before I even had the option. And while I do appreciate that, I did tell her that, look, it's okay, I can pay for it. And she was like, no, you don't need to, I got you. And I'm like, okay, great, you know, very sweet of her. That's one of the positive things I liked about her, except I wish she would have talked to me about it first before I feel real shitty and taking her money. I'm not one to want to take someone's money. That's not cool. Especially like now with me and my guys, what I do is that if one of us is low and the other one has the money, we'll hook them up. And we more than enough times we've always paid back, and there are times where we paid back with interest because that's just the way we roll, I guess. But anyways, so Jade was really good to me. She treated me well. But then as the years gone by, within like our 3rd year, I guess, when I first got introduced into her household, it was very interesting, to say the least. So her grandpa is hypersensitive, like super hypersensitive. I've never met someone that was like this hypersensitive before, but after he made a comment, which wasn't even a bad comment, I don't remember what the comment was, but he made a joke, and then like after we left, after we were about to leave, he started crying and said he apologized for the joke. He apologized, and I'm like, oh, okay. We don't know why you're apologizing, but okay. Maybe he felt the joke was offensive, and I was like, okay, great. So he wasn't the problem, I think. I'm not too sure, because I don't know what was going on with that household, but she lives with her grandparents. She doesn't live with her parents because well, they didn't want her. So short story, she ended up living with her grandparents because they ended up taking custody of her, because, you know, for good reasons. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Jade's mother wasn't the best of the mothers, and I felt like she was safer with the grandparents until I found out how crazy her grandmother was. So this was the grandmother was the one that basically judged me so fast. So the first time I had visitor, she basically looked me up and down, and as my, you know, kind of goth aesthetics coming out, I wore black pants and a black band t-shirt, and she's like, Maya, why are you hanging out? Or I'm sorry, I called her Maya. Jade. My bad. Let me cut that out. So she came up to me and she's like, Jade, why are you hanging out with her? Like, why are you hanging out with someone who's dressed like this, who looks like that? She looks like she's in a cult. She looks like she's gonna worship something. And it's like, oh no, like that is exactly what I was trying to avoid. But believe it or not, I get judged like that way too much and way too fast because I wear black. But in high school, it wasn't that bad. It was literally just black pants and a t-shirt, like of a band. I don't remember what band, but I'm pretty sure it was a band t-shirt. But she judged me super quickly. That should have been my number one red flag, that she didn't really like that. So ever since then, she was just not supportive of a friendship, and it just triggered me. And I was like, I guess I'm the problem. I guess it was my fault. So I tried dressing less black for her whenever I went over to her house. And that was also another thing. She didn't want me over at the house. She said that I was being too snoopy, too sneaky, too what so. And apparently she made a comment saying that I might have stolen something, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense because, you know, I guess that makes sense because in high school, I did one time when I was at the mall get caught, but I was going through like some really bad times at the time, so I was like, okay, that's fine, you know. I mean, it wasn't fine, but like I was going through the rough times, and she understood, but it wasn't bad. I made sure everything was fine, paid everything off, and then blah, 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 and been clean ever since then when it came to, like, theft. It wasn't that bad. It was just a pair of pants. But I kind of did it on purpose. I kind of put it, like, in front of the camera, and then that's how I got caught, and I was like, that's fine. I wanted to stop it anyway, so. But point being, yeah, she did totally distrust me, but I've been trying so hard to get back, like, it was weird because it wasn't a relationship with Jade anymore. It was more like a relationship between her and the grandma, because there are times where like I tried so hard to ask Jade if she would want to hang out and go places. She said yes. The grandmother said no, and I couldn't understand why. And I was like, okay, but my mom will drive. She's like, well, I don't know your mom. I don't know this. I don't know that. And I was like, well, in my head, I was like, well, I don't know you, but yeah, my mom lets me go with you to when we want to go places. So like, what's the problem here? But no, she was a bit of a control freak in a way, and I wasn't too crazy about it. And at the end of our relationship or friendship, I still think whatever. It's our friendship. She I don't know what happened, but Jay got so upset, and as the years went by, I think this is within our 4th or 5th year, almost to the end of our friendship. So as the years had went by, we started hanging out a little bit more because we became adults, and now we had the freedom to go out and about. We both had jobs, and we were both able to do, you know, be adults. So we went to the mall. So we went to Hot Topic because she loves Hot Topic, and I was like, okay, I'll go too. And then I was hoping we can go to Bath and Body Works because I want scented stuff, you know. But anyways, so we were just hanging around, and then we're like, okay, you know, just a casual day. So then she comes up to me. She's like, hey, that guy's kind of cute. And I was like, oh, sure. And I'm like, you want to go ask him out? And she's like, no, I don't think he'll like me. And I'm like, no, go ask him out. Maybe you don't know that, you know? So she didn't ask him out. Instead, she just like went up, talked to him, and then she just came back and started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? And she's like, because he doesn't like me. He likes you. And I was like, I don't even know him. But apparently the guy was eyeing us. And I was like, oh, okay. And by us, I think she meant me. And I was like, okay. I've never seen the man. Except for that time she told me to go look at him. And I was like, okay, great. That's not cool. So I was like, okay, well, he's just not the one for you, I guess. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, trying to cheer her up. She cried. She cried a river. She cried a storm. So I was like, okay, let's go somewhere else. Let's go somewhere you like. And she's like, oh, I want to go to Bath and Body Works. And I was like, okay, perfect. Make her feel better. So we went to Bath and Body Works, and then we ended up having a good time. So then we walked around, and I was like, oh, I want pretzels. You know, I kind of want those little pretzels. So we went over there and not grab pretzels, sorry, but like the hot dog thing. I think it's called Auntie Anne's or something. I don't remember. But I wanted one of the little mini hot dogs, and because they're so cute. And the cheese is so good. Anyways, we went there, and she starts crying again. And I'm like, oh my God, why is she crying again? And she's like kind of having a little bit of a tantrum where she felt like nobody likes her, nobody wants to be with her, and so. And she felt disgusted. And I was like, wait, what? So she's been mentally battling through a lot of problems because she's upset about herself, the way her image was, the way she looked, and she was afraid that no one was going to love a K-pop loving fanatic. And I was always the one that was like, nope, I think you're perfect the way you are. You're full of energy. You're so fun. And the only problem, which I told her straight up, the only problem is that you love too hard, too fast. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, yes, that's exactly it. Like, you just love too hard, too fast. You know, like, you just gotta wait till you find the right guy. But she was so insistent, wanting to find the true prince. And she keeps saying how much she wants to find a prince that will just sweep her off her feet and just, you know, come in like a prince he is. And I'm just like, okay, this girl's got high expectations. Okay, Jade, you're crazy. High expectations. But anyways, so what happened later is that this didn't end up being the first time, by the way. So what happened is that it became more relevant every time we went somewhere, and she kept saying like, hey, there's a guy, check the guy out, he's kind of cute. And I'm just like, why is this happening? Like, I didn't think about it until like maybe after like the 10th time we went out somewhere. Like, you know, I was like, wait a second. She's been kind of saying this a lot lately. You know, check out that guy, check out this guy. And I was like, I don't think I like this. I wasn't here to hang out with you to talk about guys. I thought we were going to hang out, you know. But I guess, you know, she's never really had a boyfriend before. So she was just boy crazy. And I'm like, okay, let's keep it fair. So what ended up happening is that we were talking one day. And I decided that it was... what was it? I don't remember what it was, but I decided that it was one of the movies, or I decided to go to movies or something with her. So we went to the movies. We had a great time, and well, I had a great time. She was enjoying the movie like halfway, and then on her phone she kept like going through her Instagram laughing about, you know, whatever she was going on about. And I was kind of like, hey, we're watching a movie, you know, like, you know. And then at the end she's like, yeah, I like the movie. And I'm like, you didn't even watch it, you didn't do anything. And I was a little annoyed. And then she's like, hey, you want to go get food? I'm like, I don't got that much money on me. She's like, it's okay, I'll pay. And I'm like, you sure? I can pay you back later. She's like, nah, you don't have to pay me back. Then we had food, and then it was a good meal until like the late part of it, where she made a comment saying that I basically, like, where she kind of made a little comment where I didn't like, if I remember correct. This was like so many years ago, man. So many years ago. So anyways, she made a comment basically calling me poor and saying that, oh, it's okay, I'm used to doing this because you never have money. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought, you know, it was a joke. It was a joke, but she said it in such a serious serious tone. She didn't, you know, bat an eye or anything. And I'm like, oh, like, that's not true. She's like, no, you never have money. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, that's nice. Now I feel completely used. And she's like, what's up? And she's like, that's okay, that's why I'm here. I can spoil you. And I was like, that is not what I want. I'm like, that is exactly not what I want. I want to earn money by my own ways, you know. And, you know, that was just not great. And since I wasn't working at the time, I was actually more in school, and I don't think I had the job just yet. So I was like, okay, I just wanted to hang out. So, and then the last time we hung out was another pizza place, and I paid for myself, of course, and she paid for herself. And then she made a comment saying that, oh wow, you actually have money this time. And I was like, oh my god, like, why do you have to make a comment like that? Why? And at the time I was working, so then, you know, so many jumps in hours, I'm sorry, that I'm missing. But so at that time I was working, which was the last time we hung out. And I was like, okay. And then she was telling me about her birthday party, and I was like, that's great. When is it? Where is it? I'm more than happy to go to your birthday party. So so then she made a list and things of, you know, what she's going to want to do and things like that. I was like, okay, cool. You know, just keep me in touch. Let me know when. So once I received that message, like weeks later, it was a very weird comment. I was like, okay. Actually, wait, no, before that, there was another incident, actually, when we went to the gym. So at the time when I didn't really have a job, but I did pay her back eventually, because it was only 10 months for my membership thing. It was just when I would pay her back. So we went to the gym together, and this is the one time I felt like the grandma just struck me out, and I realized this is horrible of her on the grandma's part. So what happened is that Jade and I went to the gym. You know, we worked together, but then the grandma decided to get a membership because she didn't feel comfortable with me and Jade being together. So I was like, okay, that's fine, I really don't mind, because she can come work out with us too. So what happened is that whenever Jade gets upset or boy crazy, the first person to go to her, the first person that, you know, to help her at the house, because, you know, she lives with the grandma, is the grandma. The grandma made a comment saying so many things, and for some reason the grandma was just really pissed at me. I didn't understand why. So I asked Jade, and I'm like, hey, your grandma seems to be really upset, and she's giving me a mad tone. Why is that? She's like, oh, it's because, and I'm like, this is what she said. This is what Jade said. She's like, oh, it's because I told her that the guy that I liked ended up having a crush on you. And I was like, what? When did this happen? So that same day we went to the gym, she saw the trainer and she thought he was cute. And I was like, well, go talk to him. You know, maybe he likes you. So she went to talk to him. She ended up crying to her grandma, saying that the guy didn't like her. Instead, he had liked me. He noticed me. And I was like, I don't understand what is with these guys, but whatever. I don't understand what kind of type they like, but clearly it's not good. But I was kind of curious, so that I was waiting for her to come talk to me because I was on the treadmill. So I was like, hey, you know, like, come over here. So she finally came to me, and then she was crying, and I was like, well, why are you crying? What's wrong? So I got off, and then we went to the restroom, and she's like, I'm crying because the guy didn't like me. He said he thought you were cute. And so bottom line, not bottom line, but just for a little scenario, every time she says this, most of the time, it's because the person that she ends up talking to has a little thing for me. And the thing is, I'm short. I'm actually short. I'm 4'9". You know, so I'm assuming maybe that's actually why I attract quite a bit of attention, because trust me, I attract quite a bit of attention apparently. So because I'm short. But anyways, back to the story. So I was like, well, okay, did you tell him I was taken though? And that's what hit me. So whenever this, which by the way, for all the times, whenever this happens, she never explains to anybody that I'm already taken. I am already happily taken. This is with my current boyfriend right now, which, you know, I tell them, like, I have the promise ring and everything, so I'm like, why do you never tell them I'm taken and I'm not, or I'm just not interested, you know? And the one person she didn't tell that to was her grandma. And I was like, are you kidding me? The one person you didn't tell. Because for some reason, I don't know why, but when I went to go, you know, I try to make a good connection with the grandma. So I went to the grandma and I asked her, hey, is it okay? You know, like trying to ask her, and she's like, what? I'm busy. And I'm like, I just want to ask you questions. Like, no, ask me later. And I was like, I just want to ask you. And she cut me off, and she's like, don't talk to me, you little tramp. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you, wait, like, what? Like, what? I was just like, why? Like, I'm still stunned until this day. But she basically called me, she basically said she thinks in her image that I'm a slut. And that I don't know. But I told Maya, I went back to Maya, and I'm like, hey, your grandma just said I'm basically a slut. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, and then that's when the grandma told me, she's like, look, you know whose problem it is that has to fix this every time Jade cries? It's my fault. It's my problem, okay? She's crying every single day in her room, being boy crazy, and I know she's boy crazy. I love her, whatever, blah, blah, but it's your fault doing this, and it's her being with you is the reason she cries. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was just like, man, I feel horrible if, you know, since it's my fault that she's crying. You know, she told me that it's basically my fault that she's crying all the time, because every time I go out with her, she gets boy crazy, and then they end up liking me. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Maya. I was like, why does your grandma think that about me? Like, why is she thinking so bad about me? Like, doesn't she know I'm taken? And she's like, oh, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? What do you mean no? Like, hello? I've been taken for 3 years at that point already. Like, no, 3 to 4 years at that point. And she's like, oh, I just never told her. And I'm like, well, that would sum it up, please? Because, like, she thinks I'm messing around with the guys that you think, that you're talking about. And I don't like that. I don't like that image. That's just disturbing. But no, and this is when Jade confronted herself basically, and told me that, oh no, my grandma never liked you. She always thinks of this of you. She always thought you were just a slut or a tramp, that you just wanted attention, and that every guy I liked, you would just take him away from me. And I'm like, okay, but why does she think that, you know? And in my head, that's when I knew that this friendship wasn't just there anymore. I was so disappointed because it turns out Jade never defended me every time the grandma said something about me. She never, and I was just so heartbroken because I was like, I thought my friend would have been the one to stop it. She would have been the one to say, hey, look, she's not like that. Hey, look, But all these years of us being friends, she never once defended me. And that's when I realized this isn't going to work. This isn't it. I don't think we're going to be friends because I don't want to feel like this when I'm hanging out with you. And I told her, like, look, I'm sorry, but your grandma, I'm trying so hard. And I told Jade, I'm like, I'm trying so hard to keep the peace between you, me and your grandma. And then Jade starts crying, saying that, why can't you guys just get along? Like, why can't you just be happy for me? Why can't you just be this and that? And I'm like, oh my God, with the crying, why the crying? And I'm just like, look, I understand, but I'm trying. Your grandma's the one that just doesn't want to. And you know what? Sure enough, the grandma comes here and she's like, I'm going home already. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. Like, I'm done. And I'm like, oh, goddamn, okay. So she got upset, and then Maya ends up asking, like, hey, was she gonna drive me home or you can drive me home? She's like, she could drive you home. And I'm like, oh, okay. So basically it was like, so me and Jay just stayed and we talked a little bit, which is awkward because we were at the gym, so we had some people staring at us, and I'm just like, this is very awkward. I don't like being in these situations. And I told her, like, after 5 minutes of us talking, basically like me trying to calm Jade down because she's just upset that her own grandmother is upset and doesn't like me and all this nonsense. And then I got mad and I basically stood my foot and I'm like, you want to know the reason why she doesn't like me? It's because you didn't defend me. You don't tell her I'm taken. You don't tell her I'm not interested. Instead, you tell her that they're interested in me, and boom, what happens then? Like, what happens then? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't make sense, and it's not adding up, and now I know why. It's because you never defended me. And I just, like, no, like, so I took her home, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. And then she starts crying, and she's like, what do you mean? Like, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm sorry, but if you're not gonna defend me, and if you're not gonna help me, I don't think I want to be in this friendship anymore. I'm gonna need some time. So basically I took a break. I just took a break from the friendship because it was just too much, and I did not appreciate being called, trampy or slutty in public, because that's just messed up. So what ended up happening, I believe a month or so later, she ended up texting me back. She's like, hey, I'm sorry, I hope everything's okay, and my birthday party's coming up soon, and I was hoping that you would still want to come. And I'm like, okay, you know what, in my head I was like, maybe I overreacted, maybe I was just so and so, let me give her another chance, let's see, maybe she might have learned her lesson. So I texted her back. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So she called me, or not called me, she texted me. She's like, oh, can you and I'm like, well, can you give me the details? And she's like, yeah. And then I asked her, like, oh, so who and who's going? So she's like, oh, these people are going. So one of them happens to be an ex of mine. So automatically I was thinking, no, I'm sorry, but I'm not I can't really call him an ex if there was no physical contact between the two of us. There really wasn't. It was like a middle school crush thing, and then it went away like a week after. So there was really nothing, but to me it still sounds wrong to go. So I decided, and I was like, no thanks, I don't think I want to go after hearing so and so's name. And then she's like, okay, well, this person's also going, which is his girlfriend. And I was like, okay. And then I saw the name and I was like, oh my God, no, please, no. I really don't feel comfortable going now. And then she's like, well, why? It's just a girl. I'm like, yeah, but when I was in this certain grade, for some reason people thought I was bi, but I'm pretty sure it's because I just flirt a lot. I guess, like, not in a bad way, but I flirt with girls rather than males because I'm more comfortable with girls. But it's like the cute flirt where it's like, dang, you look good, dang, you look fine. I was like, oh, you're like a butterfly with wings just soaring. That's kind of flirting to me, I guess. But anyways, so what ended up happening is that I'm gonna call, I don't know what to call her. I'll call her we'll call her Flower or whatever. I can't think of it anywhere. So I'm gonna call her Flower. So Flower had a huge crush on me. The girl that was dating the guy, my ex, you know, at the time. She had the hugest crush on me, and she kind of not stalked me, but she would kind of, in a way, she'd hide behind the bleachers and just stare at me or look at me when I was in my 9th grade year, and I was like, this is kind of uncomfortable. I'm not too happy. But it was not like the creepy stalkative. It was more like she was just interested in me. She just wanted to know stuff about me, I guess. So it's kind of like the whole Hinata thing where she's looking behind the pillar or whatever. But either way, I was not happy with it, and I said, look, she had a huge crush on me, and I told my friend Jade, I was like, look, he's an ex. Yeah, there was nothing between us. Like, there was nothing physical between us, but I still feel like it's kind of wrong because it's literally just the 4 of us. And I would feel uncomfortable. I wouldn't even know what to talk about. And then the other one was basically, she just had a really huge crush on me, and I felt uncomfortable about that because I just didn't really want to. So overall, the whole situation was super uncomfortable. And what I told her was, look, I appreciate it, but due to these reasons, I cannot go. I do not feel comfortable going. So she threw a huge hissy fit and said that, oh, you're not coming just because of these people, but so-and-so. And I'm like, look, I really can't. And honestly, the place you're asking me to go to also is super expensive. And at the time, I didn't have money at the time because it had to be spent for school, for college, right? So I wouldn't have the money available because I needed to pay off stuff, blah, blah. Anyways, so she got mad. She just basically told me that it's my fault for this, it's my fault for that, and that we're never going to be friends again because apparently I'm not wanting to try. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. So I tried like so much to calm myself down. But then I was like, look, if you're going to act this way, you're going to have to understand. I'm not going to go. Okay. And I'm like, you know what? And I was thinking about it, but because you're acting this way, I really don't want to go. And you know what? Happy early birthday or whatever, but I'm done with this. Okay, like, I'm just done. This isn't healthy anymore. This friendship isn't healthy. If anything, it's just giving me nothing but anxiety, and it's making me feel real shitty about myself as a person, too. Where it's like I felt like I was the one being wronged. Like, I'm doing the wronging, I guess you could say. I wasn't wronged, but I felt like I keep doing things wrong in this friendship, that every time I do something, she cries. Every time I say something, she cries. Every time I look at something, she'll cry, and I feel like I'm hurting her more than I'm supporting her. And I figured, you know what? Maybe it's one of these situations where I need to step back and just get rid of this. And I told her, look, okay, that's it. We're done. Like, that's it. I cannot handle this anymore. And then before I know it, she just stopped texting me altogether. We stopped hanging out, and everything was just done. It was just done and gone. And I told myself, like, it hurts. It felt like I lost a sister because her and I were such best friends for the longest time. And for us to have ruined, a 6-year friendship, it really hurt my heart. I'm not going to lie to you. So I went to my boyfriend, which is the same boyfriend, by the way. We've been together for 10 years. But it's the same boyfriend. I talked to him. He said, no, it's okay. I felt like she was too much for you. And I know how stressful it was. And I wouldn't be comfortable either if knowing you're not going to be comfortable at a party. And I'm like, yeah, like. And she's like, and he even told me, he's like, besides, it's just a party. She shouldn't have gone and met over a little party. You know? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But still, like, I felt horrible. But he was there to comfort me. He was there to tell me it's okay. And I was like, yeah, I think this is the best for me right now. Like, I think. And ever since then, honestly, it's been such a good time. Like, years have been going by, and I haven't had so much stress with the friendships anymore. I haven't had nothing like that happen to me again. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. There are times where I talk about it, and I'm like, I really miss her. I miss just having that girl friendship. I miss her smile. I miss her hugs. I miss her dramatic K-pop talks. You know, like, I miss her. But I miss her, not the chaos, not the exaggerated freak outs that she does. And oh my god, like, and I really don't miss her grandma, that's for damn sure. I don't miss that lady whatsoever. But I just miss having that best friend, you know. But you know what, things happen, time flies by, and you know what, it is what it is. But I just feel like that's just how the cookie crumbles, you know. I lost a friend, but you know what? It's okay. Maybe it was for the best because my Saturday was a lot nicer. It was a lot better now, but I truly do miss her. And I know she's never going to watch these or anything, which I'm okay with, but I do hope she continues living her life and, you know, happily, and I hope she's okay. And I hope she finds whatever therapy she needed or whatever she needs, because she has been going crazy with the emotions. I think she honestly just needed emotional therapy because she didn't know how to control her emotions. She was that like burst of bubble where she was always like giving and giving rather than like I don't know, but like she's always that type. She was such a great friend until like at the very end where everything just started crumbling down, and then the grandma got involved and everything, but it was just too much. But I really do hope she's doing good. But anyways, that wraps up the story of how I lost my best friend, basically because I guess the grandma ruined the friendship. I'm not sure, but honestly I felt like it was ruined the moment we met because the grandma hated me. But it is what it is, you know, so it's fine. But either way, that's basically how it ended. I didn't know how to fix it, and if anything I walked away. And you know what, I'm gonna be honest here. If you were one of those people that was in my situation or is currently in my situation, sometimes walking away is the best for the both of us. Because after a while, we both stopped talking. I did notice that I checked up on her Instagram and her Facebook and saw that she's been doing okay. She's been smiling more. And I figured, you know what, maybe this is what we both needed. We both just need to stop being friends, you know? But I do wish her nothing but happiness. I do hope she finds the Prince Charming she's always wanted, and I just hope she just lives a life, you know, like, because she always wanted to travel, so I hope she does that, you know. But either way, it is what it is. I'm happy with whatever happens, but I do miss her. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. We all get there eventually, right? But anyways, thanks for hearing my story out. Thanks for watching. This is a long video, so I need to edit some stuff out. But yeah, there's my story, how I ended my friendship. So, you know, have any of y'all ended a friendship that crazy? You know, write down in the comments below. How bad was it? Mine, I would say, it wasn't that bad. If anything, it was just more like the grandma was kind of bitchy, kind of bitchy. But anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great night, and let's see what next story is to tell. Bye, guys. Also, make sure you drink plenty of water.